Joan Waterhouse, who was also tried for witchcraft at the same time as her mother. A third woman, Elizabeth Francis, was also put on trial, but only Agnes lost her life, begging, according to the account of her final confession, for God's mercy for her errors. The case of these Chelmsford witches sparked considerable commentary in its day, and, along with other alleged incidents of witchcraft in Chelmsford in the subsequent decades, helped make witchcraft a popular topic of writers and readers in 16th century England. Perhaps there's not much in Agnes Waterhouse's story that surprises you. Agnes embodies many of the classic ideas about who witches were and what they could do, and you're more than familiar with them. The witch is still with us, after all. She continues to make her appearance each Halloween, although her presence has permeated popular culture, elevating her far beyond her starring role every autumn. The witch is a composite figure of several stereotypes, now neatly packaged and predictable. In her most basic rendering, she's an old crone with a pointed hat, clutching a broom and trailed by a cat, as black as her own garb. She's sometimes featured with other accoutrements, a bubbling cauldron, for instance, or a book of spells, but these are less essential. Her look alone is enough to single her out as transgressive, deviant. But our modern, relatively harmless stereotypes are a legacy of a terrifying time in the Western past, when tens of thousands of accused witches were charged with performing acts of harmful magic and forging a compact with the devil that threatened the safety of Christian bodies and souls. How did we get from there to here? The benign Halloween costume witch of today is a far cry from the figure of old, thought to be in league with the devil working his malevolent will on earth. During the early modern period, which ran roughly 1500 to 1800, a witch hunt of frightening magnitude caught the peoples of Europe in its convulsive grip before traveling with explorers, exiles, colonists, and clergymen to the lands Europeans claimed in a growing race for global dominance. This witch hunt, which continues to be a source of fascination and revulsion to modern sensibilities, is one of history's most misunderstood episodes. In this course, it will be our task to separate fact from fiction and myth from reality as we explore the history of witchcraft in the Western tradition. So let's do a little myth-busting right out of the gate. There's some validity in speaking of a European witch hunt as a singular, as a term that refers to the entire 300 or so year period during which witchcraft was criminalized and prosecuted in early modern Europe. But we need to unpack that process much more carefully than the broad label would imply. It's actually much more accurate to speak of witch hunts in the plural. Some areas, such as the Spanish kingdoms and Italian states, saw relatively few prosecutions for witchcraft. Others, though, saw periods of hysteria that resulted in the arrests and convictions of thousands. Among this latter group were territories in the Holy Roman Empire and France. To lump these episodes together indiscriminately under the term European witch hunt is to misunderstand the fact that local and regional outbreaks of witch hunting had their own internal dynamics and processes. And then there's the vexing issue of chronology, another area of consideration that defies the notion of a single, steady European witch hunt. We can trace the earliest episodes of European witch hunting to the first decades of the 15th century. The features present in outbreaks of prosecutions in the 1420s came to typify the early modern witch hunts, although some of the elements would continue to evolve over time. And the 15th century witnessed not just the practice of witch hunting, but the expanding complexity of its theory. For example, witch hunting manuals began to appear, the most famous among them being the Malleus Maleficarum, the Hammer of Witches, which was first published in 1487. So, now we're clicking on all cylinders, right? Witch hunting goes mainstream in the 1400s, and then it's go, go, go for 3 centuries.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.